In Greek mythology, Cerberus, often called the Hound of Hell, is the monstrous, multi-headed dog that guards the gates of the Underworld. Why am I mentioning this mythical monster? Because he's in Washington, D.C. right now, devouring your and your children's future. My name's Howard Riell, and this is Riell Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com and on Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, Twitter at RiellTruth.com, and the book Riell Truth Stay Angry. And of course, as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM, The Lion. Our call-in number, 877-254-7524. Item from the Associated Press, Dateline, D.C. Lawmakers on Monday unveiled a huge $1 trillion+ spending bill that would fund most government operations through September, but would deny President Donald Trump money for a border wall and rejects his proposed cuts to popular domestic programs. The 1,665-page bill agreed to on Sunday is the product of weeks of negotiations. It was made public in the pre-dawn hours Monday and is tentatively scheduled for a House vote on Wednesday, tomorrow. The catch-all spending bill would be the first major piece of bipartisan legislation to advance during Trump's short tenure in the White House. While losing on funding for the wall along the U.S.-Mexico border, Trump won a $15 billion down payment on his request to strengthen the military, though that too fell short of what he requested. The measure funds the remainder of the 2017 budget year through September 30, rejecting cuts to popular domestic programs targeted by Trump, such as medical research and infrastructure grants. Successful votes later this week would also clear away any remaining threat of a government shutdown, at least until October 1. Trump has submitted a partial 2018 budget promising a whopping $54 billion, 10% increase for the Pentagon from current levels, financed by cutting the foreign aid and other non-defense programs by an equal amount. Negotiators on the pending measure, however, rejected a smaller $18 billion package of cuts and instead slightly increased funding for domestic programs. Wait for it. Democrats were quick to praise the deal. Stop! If Democrats are praising the deal, you know it is rat poison injected into the bloodstream of America. So why did I mention Cerberus? That's easy. Donald Trump wants to drain the swamp. Well, there's swamp in the Democrats and there's a swamp among the Republicans. It's a two-headed monster from hell. And Donald Trump has to do battle with it. And so far, mostly he's winning. All right, it's Tuesday. It's Riell Truth, my friends. More stories from hell. Go nowhere.
The American Freedom Network needs your please call 205-6245. That's 1-800-205-6245 to make your donation. Or send a check or money over to P.O. Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado, 80534. That's P.O. Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado, 80534. Up the voice of freedom on the air. Thank you.
Reasons to own gold. Brought to you by the Patriot Trading Group at allamericangold.com. Reason number 647. Most people don't even know that the courts have already ruled. Once money is deposited into the bank owns the money, and the depositor is merely an unsecured creditor of the bank. Which means if the bank goes under, you get paid last. After the financial crisis, instead of breaking up too big to fail, the government, the Federal Reserve, created Dodd-Frank and made too big to fail banks even bigger, while putting your deposits more at risk. I'm Joe Jakeman, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. To learn more, visit us at allamericangold.com or call us at 800-951-0592.
All right, guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. Howard Riell, item from the Wall Street Journal. House Republican leaders are on the brink of losing too many GOP votes to pass their health care bill, overturning much of the Affordable Care Act, potentially dashing hopes raised by the White House of a big legislative win this week. At least 21 House Republicans have now said they oppose the latest version of the Republican plan to overhaul the health care system, with an almost equal number publicly undecided. House GOP leaders can likely lose only 22 GOP votes to pass the bill because it isn't expected to receive any Democratic support. Stop! Democrats in my listening audience, I'm talking to you. Talking to you. We'll overlook for the moment the fact that you gave Bill Clinton a pass when he was allegedly molesting women. We'll overlook for the moment the fact that you voted for an inept sleazebag by the name of Hillary Clinton. But I'm talking to you eye to eye. That's radio speak. Look at the Democrats in Congress. They won't lift a finger to help you, or me, or our children, or our companies, or our national defense, or our health care, or help balance the budget. They just don't care. They've got bigger priorities than you and me. Bigger fish to fry than America. So tell me this. And by the way, this is a call-in show, so call me and tell me. After seeing the obstructionism going on among the Democrats, not one vote for any agenda item that'll push America forward, how do you justify ever voting Democrat again? If you're listening to the show and you're a Democrat and you're not ashamed of it, call me and tell me. 877-254-7524, because inquiring minds want to know. Let's go to the video. By the way, shutting down the government, Rush Limbaugh has a couple of questions about it. But first he's talking to Vice President Mike Pence about this budget. It seems to me like the budget deal stinks. Mike Pence likes it. Let's find out why.
Rush Limbaugh and the EIB Network, and we welcome back to the program the Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence. Welcome back, sir. Great to have you here with us today.
Rush Limbaugh, it is an honor to be with you always. Thanks for having me on.
If this is what happens, Mr. Vice President, why vote Republican? What is the point of voting Republican if the Democrats are going to continue to win practically 95% of their objectives, such as in this last budget deal?
Well, I look respectfully, Rush. I actually think this was, as the president said a little while ago, I think this was actually a clear win for the American people. Look, you've had Washington, D.C. that has been paralyzed by gridlock and partisan infighting for many years. And in this new president, you have someone who's able to bring people together and make a $21 billion increase in defense spending at a time of great challenge for America's interests around the world.
He'd asked for $54 billion.
He spoke about that today, surrounded by a lot of great members of the United States Air Force. And there was also a piece here for years. Democrats in Washington insisted that any increase in defense spending would be matched with an increase in domestic spending. So you got to grow government at home if you're going to, invest in our national defense. This ended that. I mean, in a very real sense, this was a game changer because we're just back to putting the safety, security, and the national defense of the American people first. And I think it sends, having just traveled around the Asian Pacific representing the president over the last couple of weeks, I think this sends a decisive message to the world that under President Trump's leadership, we're going to make the strongest military in history even stronger.
If I'm the Democrats, $21 billion, $15 billion for defense that was not originally authorized, that's a small price to pay for continuing to fund refugee resettlement, continuing to fund Planned Parenthood, continuing to fund sanctuary cities, continuing to fund the EPA and not build the wall. The Democrats clearly think this is a big win, and they're confident they can block Trump's agenda after this spending bill for the rest of Trump's term. There isn't anything of the president's agenda in this budget, and people are beginning to ask, when's that going to happen? If you're going to shut it down in September, why not now?
Yeah.
If you complain about 60 votes today, why not go budget reconciliation for 51 votes and smoke them?
Rush, let me be real clear. The number one priority of President Trump is to rebuild our military, to restore the arsenal of democracy. And I got to tell you, to get Democrats in Washington, D.C. to agree to a $21 billion increase in a short-term budget bill.
All right, guys, listen to me. Listen closely. You know the show is Riell Truth, right? Truth. You know I'm devoted to truth. You also know I'm a big Trump-Pence supporter. So where do I go from here? Well, that's easy. I always go towards truth. I get the sense that Pence is out doing PR work here, spin work. He's trying to turn a sow's ear into a silk purse. Trump is right on. If this is the budget we get from Republicans, why the hell should we vote Democrat? Why shouldn't we, I should say, vote Democrat? The Democrats love this budget. What the hell good is it? And I have to tell you, I like Mike Pence. But I think he's not being completely honest here. I think he's trying to sell America on what he knows is a bad deal. And it is a bad deal. It's a terrible budget. And if the Republicans can, you just heard Rush say it. If I say it, who cares? But Rush Limbaugh said it. The Republicans could push it to a 51 vote instead of needing 60 votes to pass. Why don't they? What are they waiting for? They're still gun-shy about bad PR. Well, guys, if you're listening to this show, the Republicans in Congress, get this through your thick skulls. You will never get good PR. So learn to operate with bad PR. Get Trump's agenda done. Because right now, I got to be very honest with you. I'm talking to House Republicans. You're looking very much like the Democrats' bitches. You're looking like zeros. And that's what you're delivering to America. Planned Parenthood, sanctuary cities funded. It's a disgrace. And it's an epic failure. I don't care what Mike Pence has to say. You heard it here first. It's a defeat for the Republicans who own all three houses of our government, and they're beaten. It's shocking and it's appalling. And it's unforgivable. That's why I talked about Cerberus. 2 heads, each of which will bite you down to the bone. We'll take a break and we'll be back.
And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15.
This is Michael, control. The American Freedom Network needs your please call 1-800-5. Make your donation or send a check for money order to PO Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado 80534. PO Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado 80534. Keep the voice of truth and freedom on the air. Thank you. The uniform people freely. Police, firefighters, we thank them for doing a great job keeping our shop and raise a family. We realize their job is dangerous. Sometimes this message is from Cerberus uniform people who freely. Call 352-2233. They're on the air because they care. Census, the uniform people in Greeley. Piccolo's restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's restaurant in Denver is not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo.
All right, guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. Howard Riell. I'll be completely honest with you. I haven't listened to this video yet. Mick Mulvaney, director of OMB for the government, for the Trump administration, a member of Trump's cabinet, comes out and speaks to the press, the assembled White House press, about 2 hours ago. He looks pissed. Let's hear what he has to say. Here we go. Mick Mulvaney.
All right, let's get the important things out of the way first. Thank you for being here. Sean says I can't do this, but today is my anniversary. So my wife is actually watching this for a change. Hey, Pam, I love you very much. It's my 19th anniversary. Good, we got that out of the way. And believe me, I wish I were home and not here, but as much as I enjoy you people. Yeah, but you can't be home for your anniversary, dude. Hopeless romantic. Those of you who know me know that it's a miracle that I've been married to anybody for 19 years. So we're here today to talk about the bipartisan spending bill, okay? And I want to focus on that description first before we go into the details. A lot of folks have asked us over the course of the last 24, 48 hours, with Republicans in charge of the House and the Senate and the White House, why do we need a bipartisan spending bill? And one of the things I think is not being discussed as openly as it should is that this is one of those bills that requires 60 votes in the Senate. So it's not like the health care bill. We have to have at least 8 Democrats support this in the Senate, which is why we've been working with Democrats from the very beginning. Yes, we could have passed a Republican bill only out of the House, but it never would have passed out of the Senate, and then we would have been accused of not being able to function and run the government.
So understand this, my friends. Get this. For 8 people, 8 human beings, the entire trajectory of the United States is being altered. Trump put forward a plan that would do fantastic things for the country, and because 8 votes, 8 people are missing, it's being largely scrapped. Planned Parenthood will be funded. Sanctuary cities will be funded. The wall will not be funded for 8 people. By the way, to you Democrats listening to my voice right now, those 8 people are Democrats who are holding the United States ransom. Because they don't give a rat's ass about their constituents or about the country. They care about falling in line under party leadership so they continue to get money for their re-election campaigns. It makes me sick. Let's go back to Mick Mulvaney. Oh, that's wrong, Mr. Mulvaney. That's wrong. The Democrats have won. They kicked the Republicans' asses. It's a defeat for the Republicans, and if you won't say it in public, I will. The Democrats have won. Call a spade a spade. Be honest.
And it certainly doesn't bode very well for future discussions.
Yeah, I don't care what it's made up of, Mr. Mulvaney. Trump wanted $54 billion. 21 isn't even half of that. So go on and tell me what a great victory this was.
$15 billion.
Excuse me. Whoa! Trump had outlined $54 billion increase. Is Mick Mulvaney doing some funny things with numbers? I don't know. 54 down to 21. Doesn't sound like 2/3. Let's go.
Later on about the DHS number, the $1.522 billion of additional spending, by the way. That's not all of the spending on border security. The total DHS number by the time we're finished will be north of $42 billion. Okay? But one of the largest, the largest funding level for border security in the last 10 years is what we'll have at the end of this process. That's where this negotiation has taken us, to the largest spending on border security in 10 years. We'll go over the details of that in a second. Miners' health. One of my favorites. So the Democrats walked out of the room and said, they protected the miners' health. Okay? So the president. The president's asking me since the day I got here for a way to fix the miners' health issue problems that they have in Appalachia. And we were simply waiting for the opportunity to give it as part of a bipartisan discussion so that we could get something in return. We mark this as one of our victories in this particular bill. Every single Second Amendment.
Excuse me. How is this a victory for anyone who's not a miner, which is about 99% of Americans? How do you tout this as a victory when there's no wall money? When Planned Parenthood is getting its money, even though Trump said it wouldn't? When sanctuary cities are being funded, where's the victory? Back to Mick Mulvaney. I said, let's go back to Mick Mulvaney. I'm having technology issues again. Okay, I guess we won't go back to Mick Mulvaney. I was hoping to, but YouTube is doing funny things. Let's see. Nope. It's doing funny things. All right? In that case, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to Rush Limbaugh talking to Mike Pence about the budget. Here we go. Okay. My computer is doing
Sit down.
funny things again. Hang on one second. We will get it.
This budget bill includes the single largest increase in border security funding in 10 years. Throw in there, Rush. Remember, this is an issue you've been a great champion of education of choice for disadvantaged kids. For as long as I've been listening to you, and it's just about as long as you've been on the air. And President Trump insisted here in this bill that we're continuing the education of choice program here in our nation's capital, and we're going to continue to expand education opportunities for some of our astronomical kids. He didn't lose it around in here. This is just a program bill. This is a short-term bill that finishes off this year, but I think it demonstrates that in President Trump's leadership, the American people once again have a president who can bring together both parties.
Stop. Stop. The American people do indeed have a president of whom we can be proud. I think he's doing a smashing job. I just have one question. Why bother to court the Democrats when they tell us openly, proudly, defiantly they don't want to be courted, they won't lift a finger? Why are we still trying to make nice with the Democrats? Why don't we cut the Democrats completely out of this system and just pass what needs to be passed? It can be done legally, constitutionally. Why go for bipartisan when the other side is determined to destroy us? I just don't get it. Unless both sides are really part of the swamp. Unless they're only putting out the appearance of contending with each other, but really they wink and they a little nod when no one's looking, and they're really part of the swamp, both sides. Because that's the way I'm seeing it. If the Republicans wanted to beat the Democrats, they could. They apparently don't want to. Trump wants to. The Republicans in Congress don't want to. And Mike Pence has been sent out to put as good a face as possible on it. But as far as I'm concerned, it's shameful. Let's go back to Pence and Limbaugh.
All forward on the priorities of the American people. And when the next budget comes around next year, we'll see what the President Trump's leadership.
Mike Pence, stop saying that. That's all he can say about this budget deal. $21 billion for defense. Well, that's fine. It's not $54 billion, and it doesn't build a wall. You know, my friends, I don't like being lied to. Not even by people on my side. Mike Pence is on our side. Yours and mine. Pence and Trump, they're on our side. And I don't like being techniqued. Mike Pence is a career politician, and he's techniquing Rush Limbaugh. And he's not fooling Rush any more than he's fooling me or you.
I'm going to tell you, I was out there visiting troops in South Korea. I was standing on the deck of the USS Reagan.
Yeah, I don't care. He's going back to the military budget because what the hell else can he talk about? The only ray of sunshine in this budget is this $21 billion for defense, which is great, but the rest of it is a wash. It's a sellout. It's a defeat. And Pence is going on and on about the military.
In the harbor in Japan, the president has made clear his number one priority is national defense and national security.
Yeah, what about the other priorities, Mr. Pence? If that's his number one priority, great. I thought the economy was his number one priority. Where's that? Where's the border wall? Where is shutting down and punishing sanctuary cities? Where's the Trump agenda? You're not convincing me with your babble about $21 billion for the military. Stop! Who cares if the government shuts down? If that's what it takes, do it! Are you afraid the Republicans are going to get bad PR? Well, here's a news flash for the vice president. You're going to get bad PR no matter what. If you cured cancer and sent every American man, woman, and child a check for $1 million, you'd still get bad PR. I don't like the spin. I like direct honesty, which I thought I've been getting from till now from Mike Pence.
Which Washington's been pretty good at for a while. We actually made progress, and we're making a significant investment.
But why then is the president
growing government at the same time?
Why is the president now suggesting a budget shutdown in September, October? If it's no good now, why is it good then? You guys were sent there to drain the swamp. There's a clear Trump agenda that just isn't seeable. It's not visible in this budget, and some people are getting concerned that there's more concern for bipartisanship and crossing the aisle, working with Democrats, than there is in draining the swamp and actually peeling away all of the roughage that is preventing actually moving forward here on so many of these issues that affect people domestically.
My friends, this is why I love Rush Limbaugh. He's not fooled for a moment, and he's not accepting the spin, and he's not being obsequious. He's asking the right questions, honest, legitimate questions, and demanding answers. Pence is not going to give them to him. Because Pence was sent out with discussion, put a good face on this. Well, we didn't vote for Donald Trump so that those under him could come and give us a good face. We want the Trump agenda. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back. I'll get my blood pressure under control. At least I'll try. This is Riell Truth.
If you're picking 1, 2, 5, or more nutritional supplements, please stop. Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfood, the most advanced nutritional whole food supplement you can buy. Men, women, children, even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfood from BioH.com. And now take just one nutritional supplement instead of many. The Bio Superfood formulas are whole food products confessed and did not deny, but confessed, I am not the Messiah. And they asked him, what then? Are you Elijah? He said, I am not. Are you the prophet? And he answered, no. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19 through 21.
The associates at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter will not be at Vermont. No one anywhere is more noble, righteous, selfless, or courageous than our United States Armed Forces. These brave men and women and their families foot the bill for our freedom every day. Send a military care package today to let them know that they are in our hearts and our prayers and our thoughts. This message is from the associates at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter on Highway 287 in Lafayette. They're on the air because they care. This is Michael, Control American. The American Freedom Network needs your help. Please call 205-6245. That's 1-800-205-6245 to make your donation. Or send a check for money over to PO Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado, 80534. That's PO Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado, 80534. Help us keep the voice of truth and freedom on the air. Thank you.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
All right, guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. You know what? I'll tell you, I'm going back to Rush Limbaugh interviewing Mike Pence. I love the way Rush is keeping at him and asking him the real, honest-to-goodness questions. So let's listen to some more of this. Here we go. Mike Pence, Vice President of the United States, and Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, but well, I think people look at the efforts of the last 100 days. I was with the president in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
He's deflecting. He's deflecting. He won't answer Rush's question. He's going back to the past, and the nice that they've made in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania doesn't answer the question. I expect better than this from Mike Pence, quite frankly.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you weren't asked about the last 100 days. That's not what Rush asked. Answer the question, Mr. Vice President. Interrupt him, Rush. Cut him off, Rush. Jump in, Rush. Yet no one doubts the fact that Donald Trump is fighting every day. He certainly is. Why is he fighting alone? Where are the House Republicans? Why are their heads up their asses? They've been waiting for 8 years to have the kind of majority that have all three houses of the government. Where are they? Where are they? He's treading water. He's going back over things we already know instead of addressing the question directly. All right, this is stuff we've covered already. My friends, I'm very disheartened. I'm very disheartened that the Republicans in Congress are so impotent. Item from WorldNet Daily. The journalist who scooped the establishment media and unmasked Susan Rice as a key figure in the Obama administration spying scandal turned the tables Monday and grilled White House reporters about how they are doing their jobs or not doing them. As soon as Press Secretary Sean Spicer concluded his daily briefing and left the room, documentary filmmaker Mike Cernovich addressed reporters and loudly asked, "Why will nobody here cover the violence against Trump supporters?" A confused hush fell over the room as reporters, unaccustomed to being on the receiving end of shouted questions, tried to figure out what was going on. But Cernovich immediately continued, quote, "And why won't you demand that leaders of the Democrats disavow the violence by Antifa the way you demanded Trump disavow violence from his supporters?" Unquote. My friends, Mike Cernovich is a truth seeker. The White House press corps are a bunch of overpaid, pampered, elitist whores. And by the way, if you watched Tucker Carlson last night, you know that's so. Because the president of the White House Correspondents Association, White House correspondent himself, I don't remember his name, and believe me, it doesn't matter, dodged questions, refused to give direct answers, sent out platitudes instead of answers, because he is also a media whore. He's not dedicated to bringing the truth to America. He could care less about America. He's interested in rubbing elbows at fancy cocktail parties. He's interested in millionaires and billionaires and big-time politicians knowing his name, sending him a Christmas card. Most of all, he's interested in keeping his job. Truth? You've got to be kidding. Only jerks like me concern themselves with truth. You know, I do this gig. I host the show going on 9 years. I host it for free. I've not been invited to any fancy cocktail parties. I haven't been invited to speak anywhere in Colorado in almost 9 years. Haven't been covered by the press in Colorado. And you know what? That's okay. Because what I'm doing is bringing truth to America. And that's vitally important. It's a sacred task. But the whores in the Washington press corps, forget it. You're not going to get any truth out of them. Or I could start this piece from McClatchy on the budget. I'm going to hold off on it. We're about to hit a break. When we come back, another piece on this budget, which shows what a defeat it is for the Republicans in Congress, what a victory it is for the spoiled nitwit children who call themselves the Democrats. And then we'll have another video. My friends, are about 3/4 of the way through this show. I don't remember being this angry 3/4 of the way through a show in a long time. But when I see America being sold out in Washington, D.C., despite the fact that we have a real-life champion in Donald Trump, it just pisses me off, frustrates me. I don't know where to go from there. I'd like to think that things will get better, but Paul Ryan is still the Speaker of the House, and he is the chief of the backstabbing, elitist traitors in the Congress. Let's take a break. We'll be back. More Real Truth ahead.
This is Michael, Control American. The American Freedom Network needs your help. Please call 1-800-205-645 to make your donation, or send a check or money order to PO Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado 80534. PO Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado 80534. Help us keep the voice of freedom on the air. Thank you.
Article 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the places to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. If catastrophe struck, would your family be prepared? Are you confident you wouldn't react in a panic? Is there one place to get all of your emergency supplies? Paris Survival encourages you to have confidence through preparation, not panic through crisis. Paris Survival, located at 3366 South Broadway, is a professional, reputable, full-service business providing quality, realistic preparedness supplies at an affordable price. Go online, stop by, or call 303-781-0343. Paris Survival.
American Window Tinting Incorporated in Frighttown reminds parents, keep an eye on your child while shopping. Children tend to stray or become lost. This poses an opportunity for a would-be abductor. Please make every effort to keep track of your little one at all times. If you have information regarding a lost child, call local authorities at once. This message is from American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown. For residential or commercial tinting, call 303-263-4228.
All right, guys, I owe you some good news. I've been yammering at you for 3/4 of an hour, telling you the bad news, and it's legitimately bad news. Now I'm going to give you some hopeful news, at least. Here's Roger Stone talking to Alex Jones on InfoWars about possible replacements for Judge Anthony Kennedy on the Supreme Court. Anthony Kennedy, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, if they were truly patriotic Americans, would resign today and let Donald Trump replace them with constitutionalist judges. Here's Alex Jones, Roger Stone. My friends, if that were true, that would be a blessing for the United States. Item from McClatchy. Headline, no money for Trump's wall plus 6 other GOP issues missing from the $1 trillion spending bill. Congressional negotiators have come up with a $1.07 trillion plan to keep the government running through the end of September, but there's a lot missing from the 1,665-page bill. Much of it involves items President Donald Trump promised during his campaign in the early days of his presidency. Here's a list of GOP-friendly issues missing from the spending bill. The border wall, Planned Parenthood, deportation forces, $18 billion cut in non-defense spending, sanctuary cities, Cuba, marijuana. The bill bars the Department of Justice from using funds to interfere with medical marijuana. I couldn't care less about that. But so-called sanctuary cities will not be deprived of federal funding. Trump has threatened to withhold funds from sanctuary cities in the past. My friends, sanctuary cities are lawless cities. They are chaos cities. They are cities that invite criminals, hardened criminals, violent criminals, come prey on our citizens. Why anyone, any citizen of any of these cities would vote for a mayor or city council or a governor who wants to bring criminals to their city is completely beyond me. It's not normal thought. These are people who can't understand normal thought. Get it? We'll be right back.
Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits, whether they are of God, because many false prophets have gone into the world. By this you will know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is of God, and every spirit that does not confess that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of Antichrist, which you have already heard was coming and is now already in the world. 1 John 4:1.
No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debt, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. Article 1, Section 10.
Census uniform people in Greeley, police, firefighters, work in our people. We thank them for doing a great job in our shop and raise families. We realize their job is dangerous. Sometimes message from Census uniform people in Greeley. 2233. They're on the air because they care. And Census, the uniform people in Greeley. This is Michael, Control. The American Freedom Network needs your help. Please call 245. That's 1-800-205-6245 to make your donation. Or send a check or money order to PO Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado 80534. That's PO Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado 80534. Let the voice of freedom on the air. Thank you.
Item from Breitbart. An illegal immigrant who had already been deported out of the United States twice admitted to kidnapping and raping a woman while he traveled from Missouri to New Jersey. Jose Amaya Vasquez, 32, pleaded guilty in a Camden, New Jersey federal court for one count of kidnapping his former girlfriend and the second count for interstate domestic violence, according to the Department of Justice news release. Unquote. My friends, Jose Amaya Vasquez is one of the sweet, innocent babies that liberals want to continue to bring here by the millions. Because America apparently doesn't have enough violent crime yet. Item from pjmedia.com. After the U.S. Embassy in Kabul in March froze the interview process for Afghans who had supported U.S. forces due to lack of visas, a bipartisan effort secured 2,500 more visas in the compromise spending bill up for consideration this week. The special immigration visa program was established in 2008, blah, 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 blah. Bottom line is this: 2,500 more people coming from Afghanistan to the United States. Question: good thing or amazingly stupid thing? Item from WorldNet Daily. Okay, forget that one. I did it already. Did that one too. Okay. My friends, let me go. I'm going to call an audible here. Let me go up to, and I'm not going to finish it. I'm just going to start it. This is Ann Coulter's latest column. I urge you to go online to anncoulter.com and read it. The media flip back and forth on who's to blame for a government shutdown depending on which branch is controlled by Republicans. But the quote-unquote shutdown hypothetical is, in this case, a trick question. A failure to build the wall is a government shutdown. Of course, it would be unfortunate if school children couldn't visit national parks and welfare checks didn't get mailed on time. But arranging White House tours is not the primary function of the government. The government's number one job is to protect the nation. This has always been true, but it's especially important at this moment in history when we have drugs, gang members, diseases, and terrorists pouring across our border. The failure of the government to close our border is the definition of a government shutdown. This isn't like other shutdowns. Democrats can't wail about Republicans cutting Social Security or school lunches. They're willing to shut the government down because they don't want borders. Take that to the country. As commander-in-chief, Trump doesn't need Congress to build a wall. The Constitution charges him with defending the nation. Contrary to what you may have heard from various warmongers on TV and in Trump's cabinet, that means defending our borders, not Ukraine's borders. Building a wall is not only Trump's constitutional duty, it's also massively popular. Although Trump doesn't need congressional approval for a wall, it was smart for him to demand a vote. Let the Democrats run for re-election on opposing the wall. Let Senator Claire McCaskill explain to the parents of kids killed by illegals she thought the wall was inhumane. Let Senator Angus King say to people of Maine that instead of a wall that would block heroin from pouring into our country, he thought a better plan was to sponsor a bunch of treatment centers for your kids after they're addicted. Let Senator Chuck Schumer tell us why it's okay for Israel to have a wall, but not us. Let open borders Republicans like Senator Marco Rubio tell African Americans it's more important to help illegal aliens than to help Black American teenagers currently suffering a crippling unemployment rate. Republicans are both corrupt and stupid, so it's hard to tell which one animates their opposition to the wall. But the Democrats are bluffing. They're trying to get the GOP to fold before they show us their pair of threes. Unquote. My friends, go to anncoulter.com or go to my Facebook page, Riell Truth Radio, and read her column. I'll be back in 23 hours. Hasta luego.